When you think of Spider-Man, you invariably think of Venom. The two characters have been inextricably linked together ever since the latter's introduction in the 1980s, to the point where Venom has gone on to become not only one of Spider-Man's greatest villains, right up there alongside the likes of Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus, but also flat out one of the best, most compelling, most popular comic book characters of all time.
Yes, we will.
Naturally then, when a major new Spider-Man story is on the horizon, fans are bound to wonder whether Venom will have a role to play. By now, over the course of 2 games, Insomniac has built out an excellent, authentic Spider-Man universe. And having teased Venom's introduction with both of its previous games, the developer is now ready to finally let the symbiote break out of its cage.
Vitals are good, circulatory system healthy, brain activity normal.
He's been in there long enough.
Mr. Osborn, I understand he's your son, but his
want him
disease could...
gone. Kurt.
But we may be underestimating the potential danger.
I said, get him out!
Alongside Kraven the Hunter, Venom has been confirmed as one of the main villains in Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and here we're going to take a look at that character, his history, and what role he might be playing in the upcoming sequel. Let's start with the basics. What is Venom? Yes, that basic. Because as you are probably aware, Venom isn't human. It's an alien symbiotic life form that survives and thrives on hosts, who usually turn out to be human. When a host is bonded with the symbiote, they get all manner of superpowered abilities, from regenerative healing to super speed and strength, from heightened senses and reflexes to even telepathic abilities, which the symbiote usually uses to communicate with its host. In symbiote form, meanwhile, Venom can also change its shape and color, and even turn invisible, but of course the symbiote isn't without its weaknesses. One in particular that Spider-Man fans will be well aware of is its high sensitivity to high sonic energy sound waves, which, interestingly enough, recent hands-on previews have confirmed will be a thing in Marvel's Spider-Man 2 as well. Over the course of several decades, across many stories, Venom has bonded with several hosts, but the one that's usually associated with the character most often is Eddie Brock, a journalist who, at the outset of his story, harbors a deep-seated resentment towards Spider-Man. Interestingly enough, however, Insomniac has confirmed that the Venom in Marvel's Spider-Man 2 isn't going to be Eddie Brock. Who exactly is going to be the symbiote host then? Well, at this point, the post-credit scenes of both previous Spider-Man games all but confirmed that Harry Osborn is Venom in the upcoming sequel. Previously, it's been revealed that Norman and Dr. Kurt Connors were using the symbiote as part of an experimental treatment to Harry in order to cure him of his degenerative disease. And based on Marvel's Spider-Man 2's trailers, it seems like Harry has been indeed cured. How exactly Oscorp got its hands on the symbiote is a question we're hoping will be answered in the game, but at the very least, it's safe to assume that the symbiote did indeed heal Harry. That said, it's also sage to assume that slowly but surely it's going to take over and turn Harry into the Venom we all know and love, which will certainly be an interesting take on the character.
We're going to heal the world.
Harry Osborn has never really been a host for Venom in the comics over the years, so it should be interesting to see what Insomniac does with its pairing of the two. Then again, can we be sure that it'll just be Harry who will be bonded with the symbiote? For starters, we'll know for a fact that at some point the symbiote is going to find its way over to Peter as well. We've seen him in the iconic black suit, we've seen him using the symbiote powers, and we've seen hints of what the alien being will do to his mental and emotional state.
He's got big teeth.
So do I.
He's not normally like that, right?
No. He's never like that.
How exactly the symbiote will go from Harry to Peter remains to be seen, while that also raises the question of whether any other character will have to deal with the alien organism as well. In the comics, for instance, there was a period where the Venom symbiote was bonded with Mac Gargan, aka Scorpion, who does exist in Insomniac's Spider-Man universe. Could that perhaps be a pairing that we'll get to see in the upcoming game? And this is where Eddie Brock comes in again. Yes, Insomniac has confirmed that Eddie isn't Venom in Marvel's Spider-Man 2, but that doesn't necessarily have to mean that he won't have any role to play in the story whatsoever. After all, when Miles Morales was first introduced as a character in the original game, he was just a regular kid, with Insomniac choosing to use parts of the game as an origin story for how Miles goes on to become Spider-Man. Maybe the developer has something similar in store for Venom. Maybe at some point in Marvel's Spider-Man 2's story, Eddie Brock will be introduced as a character, and maybe by the time the story ends, the Venom symbiote will have taken him as its host. We wouldn't be entirely surprised if Insomniac once again chooses to tell an origin story for a well-known and beloved character in its own unique way. One thing that does seem pretty certain, even though there's clearly so much that we don't know about the game, that Spider-Man 2's Venom is very much going to be a villain. That, after all, isn't something that you can always take for granted. Though Venom was very much an out-and-out villain in the early years of the character's introduction, over the years, especially with Eddie Brock, he's been developed into more of an anti-hero who's often also defended the innocent with his own unique brand of vigilante justice. It's unlikely, however, that we're going to see that side of the character in Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Maybe that's something that Insomniac could potentially look into at some point in the future, but for now it seems likely that Venom is going to be the main villain. In fact, we wouldn't be surprised to see him upstage Kraven the Hunter as well. Yes, Insomniac has described Kraven as one of the game's primary antagonists and the catalyst for the sequel's entire story, but you could have said the same about Mr. Negative in Marvel's Spider-Man as well, and Dr. Octopus turned out to be the big bad in that story.
You can't imagine how satisfying it is. Ready for your final act?
It's very likely that we're headed for something similar in Spider-Man 2, where Kraven the Hunter and Venom are concerned. One way or another, we're more than a little excited to see Insomniac's take on this beloved character. Venom is one of the most iconic comic book villains of all time, and so far, Insomniac has done an incredible job of adapting Spider-Man villains in its own way that feels simultaneously authentic and unique. If the developer can bring that same expertise to Venom as a character, and there's little reason to believe that that won't happen, then we're gonna be in for one hell of a time with Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And that brings us to the end of the video. A quick request: we upload new videos every single day, and if you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing. It really helps us out. Also, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon so that you can receive daily video updates. Thanks for watching.